there are tons of ICT concepts, but the question that I get asked the most is which ones actually work. There are so many to talk about that we could actually be here all day long, but I don't want to waste your time, so I'm going to tell you the ones I personally use and the ones that personally work for me, that I've back tested and have proven it by getting funded. So if you want to stay up to more trading content, make sure to like and subscribe, and without further ado, let's get into this video. First concept that I want to talk about that I personally use from ICT himself is the Asian range. Now, it's not really a concept, it's more of just a session, right? But it's the way that we use this session and how we form our trade ideas based around it. So that's what I'm going to show you just now. So the Asian range is a, this is a very generic diagram, but it's something like this. A tight consolidation is what we are looking for and basically consolidation is just a sideways movement, right? We want to ideally trade trending markets like that, but a sideways market is known as a consolidation, and that's what the Asian range is. Now the Asian range timings, and make sure to note this down, is between 7 p.m. and midnight New York time, okay? So what you want to do is go down here and just set your time to New York time, so everything I say is pretty much clear and we're on the same page. So 7 p.m. to midnight New York time is the Asian range, and we form an Asian high, a session high basically, and a session low. Now these are very important because this actually leads me on to the next concept, which is the power of three. Now the power of three is a very, very important concept because it basically consists of an accumulation, manipulation, and distribution phase, which I know sounds like gibberish, but all it is manipulating the market, taking out liquidity from one side and then going in the opposite side of the market, I guess. Essentially, if we have an Asian high, let's say there, and our Asian low is somewhere here, the power of three, all we're doing, if our main daily bias is to the downside, we're targeting liquidity there. What in a power of three are we looking for? We're looking for a move up first, taking out the Asian high, probably into a higher time frame fair value gap, and then we are looking for a move down. So this whole thing is manipulating liquidity to the buy side first and then going and targeting sell side liquidity. So the power of three is a very important concept, paired with the Asian range is very, very powerful. Now I actually mentioned another ICT concept I use, which we kind of went past, which is the daily bias. Now it's not really a concept, but it's something that is very, very important, and that is what directs our trades, because daily time frame is higher time frame. High time frame equals higher power or more power basically. So if my daily bias is bearish for the day, I'm looking for a power of three first to the upside and then a move down. So analyze on the daily time frame and then go down to the lower time frames to form your entry. So the daily bias is very important. So far it's daily bias from the top down analysis. Then we're looking for the Asian range, a tight range, or pretty much a narrow range, I guess. And then we're looking for a power of three depending on whichever side we are. If we're bullish, then we want to see a manipulation down first, and if we're bearish, we want to see a manipulation up first. Okay, so that's all well and good, but how do we actually trade, and what concepts do I use for that? Well, for our trade idea, all we're looking for is a classic 2022 ICT mentorship model, which is a swing low there, a break in market structure right there, and a fair value gap which forms. Now remember, all of this is time and price, so make sure to look for these things at a specific time. For me personally, it's the London kill zone, which I made a video on as well. So that is 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. New York time. Now in this gap window time, if my entry forms, I'm going to take it. If it doesn't, I'm not. That's strict rules that you have to follow. So that's another concept really, a London kill zone, which is basically high probability session timings. Okay, then I'm looking for a fair value gap, and I think that pretty much wraps it up. We have daily bias, we have the power of three, we have Asian range, we have fair value gaps which are basically price imbalances where there was a lot of smart money involved, and I'll just show you an example right now live. So fair value gap and pretty much London kill zones, which is high probability London session timing. So if we actually go down to the live market right now, I'll actually show you. This was a trade that I was thinking of taking, but as it looks like we're going to continue going down without tagging me in. But this is what I'm talking about, a fair value gap. Okay, this was the classic break in market structure, and this from this low to this high, this rectangle right there is a fair value gap, because as you can see, price was so energetic at this point that there was no opportunity for sellers to really kick in. Okay, there was no opportunity for all the sellers to come in, hence why this gap has created a lot of momentum going down, and we expect price to come back into this, tap it, and then go down. Okay, fill in the imbalance and then carry on going down. So that is another concept, and pretty much that is it, and those are the ones that personally work for me. Now you know which concepts I personally use, but as I said, personally is a big important word because it works for me, and if it works for me, it might not work for you. It might, but it might not as well. So as usual, you should go back test this, for, test this, all those good things, and then come to a conclusion as to which concept you actually want to use. But I've given you a framework, and I will be coming out with a video talking about how I would restart watching ICT again, because it's a lot of content, a lot of knowledge, and people usually get very stuck in learning it. As usual, until next week, stay safe, happy trading.